Hello, day 3, week 3. This is your third big lesson, 2-hour writing lesson. You've had 2 full weeks of action verbs versus passive verbs. The kids should have written in their journal no no passive verbs. They should have a list of the passive verbs. And the first thing you do is review. So review those passive verbs that they may not use and play a game with action verbs, with prizes to make sure they can form a sentence with a good quality action verb in it. Make sure they're able to use the list of action verbs that you have created with them and they know where that list is in their folder. After you've played a game, it's time to go into the mini lesson, which is about adjectives. Explain to them that adjectives modify a noun. You don't need to say anymore. Just repeat it several times through the lesson and give examples. My favorite is the gorgeous gorilla. I like it because it's an alliteration with 2 G's and it's fun to say. So I tell the kids, that's my favorite adjective, the gorgeous gorilla. And I ask them to try to figure out what's the noun and what's the adjective. And then we brainstorm words that are adjectives. What we did in our class this summer was we had some younger kids come in and pretend to be animals, and they did different movements, and we brainstormed what they were doing. So we had a whole list of jump, hop, leap, prance, dance, all the things that an animal can do. I thought of a different animal like a bear or a frog or a lizard, and the kids pretended to be that animal, and then the kids brainstormed the action verbs. When we got that list done, one of our moms typed it up and they put it in their folders for their writing class. After the review and after the mini lesson, it's time to write. And before writing, I always model something that's quality writing. So what I did on lesson 3 is I wrote something myself. I sat in front of them while eating a piece of chocolate, and I read this story that I wrote to them. As I exposed the chocolate in my hand, my students careened forward, watching me expectantly. I bit off my first piece while every gland salivated explosively as the chocolate hit my taste buds. I waited quietly and patiently as the chocolate melted in my mouth. I silently laughed at the expectant look on the students' faces. Puzzlement, hunger, and questions gave way to betrayal as I joyfully bit into my second bite. This morsel melted gently as I savored each second, tasting and taking the time to smell the chocolate. Before my next bite, I said, "Heavenly," I mused. And then I looked at them, and they looked at me like, "What's going on? Is this writing class?" And I handed out a piece of chocolate to each student, and I said, "It's time to write about what you hear and taste and see and feel as you eat this piece of chocolate." And then I just turned on music and sat and wrote in my journal and gave them 20 or 30 minutes to write. Afterwards, we had author's chair. They used their 6 traits to give compliments to each other as they shared with each other. They did not have to share if they didn't want to, but more and more kids really enjoy sharing as we go on. This is the 3rd lesson, and they've gotten into the routine by now, and it's been a very happy experience. Hopefully it will be for you also.